Bruning here from Trinity Whip Company, and I'm making this video from a request about how to do strand drops. And I'll say there are a lot of ways to do strand drops, and the more you learn about whip making, usually the more humbled you are to realize how much you just will never know. There is so much to it. There are a lot of different ways of strand drop, as I said, but this is what I would say is the way I use pretty much regularly. It's my favorite way to do it, and I actually stumbled on this on my own. Not that I'm the one who invented it, but I stumbled onto this on my own from watching Joe Strain, and I thought he did it a particular way. And so I replicated it in what I thought was the way to do it. And I found out later that I was actually even wrong about it, but I really like this method myself, and I've made it work well. But you can take we're going to talk about the front two strands right now. I'm going to bring another one over and make it the real front two. But with these, you can just tuck them both in at the same time. And that's a very common method. Then that leads your braiding as a, under 3/2 once these are dropped in. And you can drop them at the same time, but I find it's better to drop them not at the same place at the same time, but at the same place and at different times. And this is one of the methods that you can do it. And this is my personal method. Not that I invented it. It's just what I think works best. So this is a 12 plait, and so we got 6 over here and 6 over here. And as I bring this one over, which I'm going to drop first, we're going to call that number 1 because it's the first plait I did. Okay, I'll have to redo this. I'm just kind of holding it so you can see. So this is going to be the first one, and we're going to drop this. But I'm not going to tuck it in the core yet. I'm just going to put it right here. So that's 1. All right. Now I'm going to continue with the under 3/3. Right, under these 3 over the front 3. So this will be the second one. So that's number 2. Like I said, there's a 12 plait. We're going to imagine one set is 12 braids. All right, this will be number 3. And I'm going to keep going until I get to number 7. So that's 4, 5. And it's going to be a little ugly because I'm trying to keep the camera in and let you see it. 6. All right. And we're going to come over here to 7. All right, so now that I just brought this one over on the same side, I'm dropping the first one, and that's, so we get that in the back, that's number 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the 7th because it's the one on top. I'm going to take this number 1, and that's where I tuck it under and keep it into braid. And now this one directly under it, which would be not the 2, but the 3, the one that's right by the 1, I'm just going to tuck it in a little. Just slide it up a little more snug. So that was my 7th plait, and I dropped my first strand. So now the braiding changes. The braiding is going to be under 3/2 as I tuck this one in, and it stayed under 3/3 all the way up until my 7th one, which I tucked in this first one. So now I'm going to reach around and grab number 8. All right. Now number 9, and on this side is still under 3/3. Now we're going to go to number 10, which again now has changed to under 3/2. And now number 11, which will be under 3. Whoops. Under 3/3. Maybe I should just raise this up a little bit. I'm trying to get a more bird's eye view. All right. So I'm ready for my last drop. So now this next one I'm going to pull is 12, would be the one that was under the first one. And I'm going to reach under all 5, and I'm going to pull it under all of them. And then I'm going to get it up and around the core a bit. All right, and if I can, I'm going to not only get up under the core, so you can see this, but it will actually tuck under a little bit, and I like to pull it across and back a little as I put it back under the core. All right, so now if you look at it, we now have 5 on each side, and I just completed my 12th one, but this is going to change the braid because now I still have to reach around on this side, which will continue the under 3/2. But now, having it been lost from this side, all right, so you can see this. Whoop. Like I said, if it's tucked in right, everything should come up pretty snug. So now over on this side, it now changes it. So now over here, it is under 2/3. So you can see that. So over here, it's under 3/2. All right. Oop. Get that core together better. All right. Now under here, it's going to be under 2/3. I'm going to back up a bit. Let me adjust the camera. I'm just going to braid a little. So we're just going to continue braiding for a while, and I wouldn't really want to mess with it anymore. why it's really going to show if I don't do this good. Like I said, I'm kind of looking at the camera more than what I'm doing, and I may need to braid farther down, which we'll talk about to actually redo this. But we're just going to keep braiding, and as one side, like I said, is different. The one over here is now under 2/3. And the one on this side over here for the herringbone is under 3/2. All right, and I'll just braid down another inch so we can look at the end results. So under 3/2, under 2/3. And under 2/3, sorry, on this side, and then we'll do another under 3/2 over here. Drop this white one in, and then we'll just kind of look at what we got. So once again, we now have a 10 plait, but the braiding is varied. Now, if we look at that, all right, see that real quick. All right, so if you can see, let's see if we can get that in the camera. You can see with the side braiding. It's nice and clean, no gaps. Go to the other side. It's getting nice and clean with no gaps. And it's going to be kind of hard to get the underside. I would never really want to do this, but it's the same thing. And on top. All right, let's see. So the braid drop, which is right up in here, it is noticeable where any strand is pulled in too much or tucked in the wrong way. Now, you would continue to braid this, 5-6 inches or so, and then I would take the first strand I drop and pull tight, and then I might finish a set and then take the second one and pull tight. And it should already be pretty snug, but I want to make sure when I pull it, I can snug that up a little bit more. And if it gets pulled through a little bit more than you want, that's not a big deal. You don't want to pull so much as a gap, but if it does, again, that's not a big deal, and that's not a gap in the plating. You can sometimes snug it up, and it'll kind of tuck in a little more than you want, but there still won't even be a gap. These are things you'd want to work out as you get better, and not to really show a little sliver of a gap here and there. But, a gap in the braiding, like a gap, is not the same as a gap when you drop a strand. You wouldn't really call that a gap, all right? You'd call it where, you snugged up a strand a little too much. Now, there are different ways to do this. And I'm not sure the name of this method. A lot of this stuff, I have more of an understanding than a vocabulary on what you might call certain drops. But this is the way I do it. There are other ways to do it, but this is my more preferred. And I like it because, like I said, you drop them both at the same spot, just like if you drop them at the same time. But instead of dropping at the same time, you drop one now, braid the other through, and then drop the other one. So I drop the first one on top. And then instead of having that other one drop on top, which can also kind of cause a bump, it drops underneath. And it just kind of helps the overall look, and a very clean braid if done right, or drop if done right. And any of these drop methods can be done very clean and done right. This is not what I would say this is the best method or the preferred method for everyone. This is my method, or my preferred method. And it is good if you watch videos and see different methods, try different methods, and see what you like. It may be that sometimes you may have to do a different method, for dropping. Usually it won't matter that much, but these are things that could happen depending on maybe you have a really short strand and a short strand in another spot where it dictates a different preferred drop method. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps out the gentleman that was asking about this, and I'll be working on another one he requested, which is how do I braid in a new strand or a new colored strand. Have a wonderful day, everyone. God bless. Blake Bruning from Trinity Whip Company.